Ready?
No.
Okay. The council meeting of May 3rd, 2023 will now please come to order at 8:02 p.m. The audience is invited to join council in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Broussard,
Present.
Ms. Gilchrist,
Here.
Mr. Glassberg,
Here.
Ms. Heeman,
Here.
Mr. Limpert,
Present.
Mr. Madden,
Here.
Mr. Scarl,
Present.
Ms. Williamson,
Here.
If there are no additions or corrections, the council meeting minutes of April 18th, 2023, and the special council meeting minutes of April 25th, 2023 are approved as written. And the following legislation is being considered for suspension of the rules this evening. On second reading, ordinance 2023-48 and resolution 2023-49. And then on first reading, resolution 2023-56. Moving into reports, Mayor Daley Jones, you have a report this evening.
I do, Mr. President. Before my report, if it pleases the council, we'd like to swear in new firefighters here in the city of North Olmsted.
Would love to.
Mr. Jones.
Any relation?
No relation. Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
Andrew Jones,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the state of Ohio,
of the state of Ohio,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of North Olmsted,
of the city of North Olmsted,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of
discharge the duties of
firefighter paramedic
firefighter-paramedic
for the city of North Olmsted Fire Department
for the city of North Olmsted Fire Department
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
on this date of May 3rd, 2023.
on this date of May 3rd, 2023.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. How are you?
Very proud.
You should. It's wonderful.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Very proud of you.
Mr. Novak. How are you? Good. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jacob Novak,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the state of Ohio,
of the state of Ohio,
the charter and ordinances
the charters and ordinances
of the city of North Olmsted,
of the city of North Olmsted,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of
discharge the duties of
firefighter paramedic
firefighter-paramedic
for the city of North Olmsted Fire Department
for the city of North Olmsted Fire Department
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
on this date of May 3rd, 2023.
on this date of May 3rd, 2023.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Miller. Okay, now you. I state your name.
I, Preston Miller,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the state of Ohio,
of the state of Ohio,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of North Olmsted,
of the city of North Olmsted,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of
discharge the duties of
firefighter paramedic
firefighter paramedic
for the city of North Olmsted Fire Department
for the city of North Olmsted Fire Department
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
on this date of May 3rd, 2023.
on this date, May 3rd, 2023.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. My glasses.
Mine are for distance.
You got it. You got it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Members of council, friends and family, and all of our distinguished guests, I want to thank you for coming tonight to see our 3 new firefighters being sworn in today. They were extremely impressive in their interviews, and we are extremely pleased with having them. Each one of them brings a skill set that fits really well with not just the fire department, but the city. And I just want to say thank you to the family and the friends who came out to support them tonight. For those of you who would wish to, after we're done here this evening, we're going back to fire station number 1, and we have some cake and refreshments to celebrate their coming on board. So again, thank you, members of the council. Thank you for your entire support. We very much appreciate it. And to the members of the administration, thank you very much.
Mr. President, we now have members of our North Olmsted Chamber of Commerce here to receive a proclamation for Small Business Week. North Olmsted City Council, the Small Business Week is April 30th through May 6th of this year, and we have enjoyed a wonderful relationship with our Chamber of Commerce here in North Olmsted and beyond. And we thought it was so important today that City Council and the city recognize the hard work that these small business owners do every day. So if it pleases council, I'll just read the proclamation. Whereas April 30th through May 6th is National Small Business Week, and whereas small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy, and whereas small business owners make a significant contribution to the North Olmsted community. And whereas those contributions lead to an economically prosperous and thriving city. And whereas the North Olmsted Chamber of Commerce advocates for and supports the interest of all small businesses in the city of North Olmsted. And whereas small businesses remain the heartbeat of our communities and the American economy, employing more than half of our nation's workers, inventing and innovating to launch new technologies and create new American-led industries, enriching our main streets, making parts and products in America to fuel our supply chains, and building our nation's infrastructure. And whereas the City of North Olmsted supports and joins in this national effort to recognize the contributions of small businesses to the American economy and their importance to ensuring that our local communities remain as vibrant tomorrow as they are today. Therefore, be it resolved that I, North Olmsted Mayor Nicole Daly Jones, do hereby proclaim April 30th through May 6th, 2023 as Small Business Week in the City of North Olmsted on behalf of all members of our North Olmsted City Council and our residents in our community. Be it further resolved that the City of North Olmsted fully supports all efforts of the North Olmsted Chamber of Commerce during National Small Business Week. Congratulations.
Next, down the pike here. Thank you. Okay, very good.
And Mr. President, I'm going to give a quick report to council, and then we do have one other organization to be recognized this evening before City Council. Join us next Thursday, May 11th at the North Olmsted Recreation Center Field House for our second open house for the Lorraine Road Corridor Study. The doors open at 5 p.m. and we will be there until 7 p.m. Our rec center staff will have activities for little ones, so you can bring them along and you can also participate in the open house. I will be hosting a community prayer breakfast in celebration of Thursday's National Day of Prayer tomorrow morning from 9 until 10 a.m. at Old Town Hall. All members of City Council are cordially invited to attend. The keynote speaker will be Chaplain Todd Kirkpatrick. Springville Ballroom is turning 100 this year. To celebrate, a centennial dance is on tap for Thursday, May 18th from 6 to 9 p.m. Guests are encouraged to dress in the garb of their favorite decade from the 1920s through today. Tickets are $10 and will be available at the door. And speaking of centennials, Friday morning, May 5th, I will be meeting with Mr. Andrew Kuak, a World War II veteran who turns 100 years old on that day, to present him with a proclamation. The retired postmaster for the City of North Olmsted will also be feted at 5 p.m. that afternoon at the North Olmsted VFW Post 7627. Friday will be Andrew Kuak Day in the City of North Olmsted. Skating through the decades is the theme of the 2023 North Olmsted Ice Show, taking place at 7:30 p.m. Friday, May 19th, and at 2 and 7:30 p.m. Saturday, May 20th, and at 4 on Sunday, May 21st, at the North Olmsted Recreation Center. Tickets are $12, and the show will feature a talented cast of more than 100 skaters. Teacher Appreciation Month began on May 1st. The North Olmsted Recreation Center is celebrating our city's school staff by offering a free pass for the entire month. For more information, please visit the city's website. North Olmsted High School will present a STEAM showcase from 5:30 to 7 p.m. on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. Students will present, demonstrate, and showcase the interactive STEAM projects they have completed in class. This event is open to the entire community. I had the privilege of attending the Citizen of the Year banquet last week along with council members Glassburn and Heeman and Law Director Garreau, and presented a mayoral proclamation to the North Olmsted Community Council's 2023 Citizen of the Year, David Furin. The North Olmsted Citizen of the Year is recognized annually for their community service and volunteerism in our community. Along with a group of kindergartners, I was honored to cut the ribbon for the grand opening of North Olmsted's new Story Walk at North Olmsted Community Park. The North Olmsted Story Walk is a collaboration between the North Olmsted Public Library and the Department of Recreation and Public Engagement with the support of the Friends of North Olmsted Library. The Story Walk provides an outdoor opportunity for healthy activity while promoting and encouraging our children to read. And finally, the North Olmsted Senior Center hosted the second annual Senior versus Senior Chair Volleyball event with North Olmsted High School's Sites seniors last week. A competitive game of chair volleyball was the main event. After a pizza party, Senior Center members and North Olmsted High School seniors would continue either playing chair volleyball with each other or also played pool and ping pong with each other, which was a wonderful intergenerational event. And Mr. President, that concludes my report for this evening. And I don't see Mr. Upton back yet with my proclamation for the Junior Women's Club. So if you would perhaps allow after other reports are given.
Exactly, I was going to make that suggestion.
Thank you.
So, Director of Law Garreau, do you have a report this evening?
This will not help get that report delivered. I do not have a report. So there's no time being added to the process. I do not have a report this evening.
Thanks.
I could have taken 5 minutes, but I didn't, so I don't have a report this evening.
Director of Finance, Kopfer, do you have a report?
I do not have a report.
I knew you were going
However,
to say that.
I mean, I'm surprised that the law director can't handle a brief report.
A brief report.
This is my
favorite kind.
Time if I could have some personal privilege.
Councilman Limpert.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to, given that my wife has been involved in this STEAM effort, I wanted to give some added marketing for it. I understand there's up to like 40 booths from different teachers that are bringing in as part of that STEM process, and my garage full of cardboard products for creative efforts in there. So if you don't have anything going on, I would recommend you check it out and see some young people get involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. So thank you.
All right. Mayor, how about we now start with council committee reports, and we can and will circle back to you. Fair? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Williamson, Chairwoman of the Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee. Do you have a report this evening?
Unfortunately, I do not. I gave it last week. However, it looks like the director has returned. So maybe we can turn the mic back over to him.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate it. Mr. President, with council's indulgement.
Of course.
Women's Club, please come and join us. Good, good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's always important that we recognize the organizations who make a difference in North Olmsted, and I always love that we can share that with City Council who represent all of our residents. And I have a proclamation here for the Women's Club. Whereas the North Olmsted Junior Women's Club has been serving the community since 1954, and whereas the North Olmsted Junior Women's Club is an integral part of our community, and whereas the North Olmsted Junior Women's Club has made a tremendous impact on our community for more than 60 years, and whereas the North Olmsted Junior Women's Club promotes community service and volunteerism, serving all residents. And whereas the North Olmsted Junior Women's Club has grown and evolved through the years. And now therefore be it resolved that I, North Olmsted Mayor Nicole Daly Jones, do hereby thank and recognize all members of the North Olmsted Junior Women's Club for their civic pride and involvement. On behalf of all members of our North Olmsted City Council and all residents of our community. Congratulations.
What's that?
Call me for once. No. Donna? Oh my God. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you.
You know what? And I join on and off. I really have a hard time, but you guys do great.
Thank you.
I'm always impressed.
I am too. I love the junior women's. I think they do awesome for our community.
Thank you.
Tom finally got you out here. I know, I put in the work. We should just pull these down from now on.
Thank you, Mayor. The suspense was killing us. Moving back into council committee reports. Councilman Limpert, Chairman of the Building, Zoning, and Development Committee. Do you have a report this evening?
I do have a report this evening, Mr. President. Thank you. Building Zone Development Committee met on 25th of April, 2023 at 6:50 p.m. Present were committee members Heeman, Limpert, Williamson, the rest of the council, Mayor, HR Director, Economic Development Director, Safety Director, Special Assistant to the Mayor. On the agenda were ordinances 2023-18, Resolution 2023-49. First on the agenda for ordinance 2023-18, Mr. Upton noted that this was to further discuss the boundaries related to amending the chapter 1118.13 of the Planning and Zoning Code. Mr. Upton noted that he had a map of the layout, which he reviewed with us, which was what was being proposed. He did not have a visual of the Planning Commission's recommendations to amend that, but did note that the administration felt strongly in the boundaries that they had proposed. Mr. Garreau noted that there are no specific guidelines that require a specific type of measurement or distance be established for any change to the zoning code, and that he didn't see any concerns with the ordinance as written. Mr. Upton noted that during the Planning Commission meeting, there was a belief that the Chamber of Commerce had a position regarding this legislation, which upon his follow-up, he determined that was not the case. And after hearing comments from the audience, the council recommended approval of the ordinance by a vote of 3-0. Next on the agenda was Resolution 2023-49, which was a statement of qualifications for the contract of architectural services, as an RFQ has not been requested for this contract since 2009. Mr. Upton confirmed that we have, upon questions from the chair, that we do have all intellectual property rights from the current architectural firm related to our buildings. And as Mr. Garreau had noted, that there's previous instances where that had become a point of issue, so we ensure that we do that now and in the future. And Mr. Glassburn, Ms. Heeman, and Mr. Limpert all noted that they were in favor of frequently revisiting for RFQs with vendors, and the motion passed by a vote of 3-0. And Mr. President, the meeting concluded at 6:58, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Heeman, Chairwoman of the Recreation, Public Parks, and Buildings Committee, do you have a report this evening?
Thank you. I do not, but however, Mr. Chair, since there is an item for suspension and there was not a committee meeting, it was a brief discussion in caucus, I'd like to at least report a little bit about that.
Certainly.
Thank you so much for the privilege. Their 2023-56 was brought in caucus to discuss the merits of passing it on suspension. And that is a resolution dispensing with the formal RFP process and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Sixmo Company to provide construction management services for the senior center and community cabin kitchen renovation project and declaring an emergency. Director Pinchek briefly reported to all of us that this is for the purpose of finishing the kitchen spaces at the community cabin and the recreation, the community cabin and the senior center, I apologize, and that the anticipated cost for this proposal is not to exceed $25,000, and that the timeline is somewhat urgent because, we want to dovetail right from the work that's being done now with the current contractor. And so there were no objections from myself, committee, or anyone on council to this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Glassburn, Chairman of the Finance Committee, do you have a report this evening?
I do, Mr. President. Thank you very much. The Finance Committee met this evening, May 3rd at 7:32 p.m. Present were all of council, the mayor, and the directors of law, finance, HR, economic development, service, recreation. There was one piece of legislation on the agenda, 2023-55, the alternative tax budget. This is a document that allows for, resolution that allows for the city to collect taxes from the county across a variety of fields, and that was recommended favorably 3-0. Next, discussed in the committee was a brief summary of the first quarter revenue and expenditures, a fiscal review, if you will. There's a lot of positive and negative signs in our numbers, and so we will have to further monitor this as we go forward. The committee ended at 7:47 p.m. That concludes my report of the Finance Committee, but at this time, I would move to remove from the agenda and refer back to Finance 2023-46 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to remove Resolution 2023-46 from the agenda and refer to committee made by Councilman Glassburn, seconded by Councilman Limpert. Roll call, please.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes, with a comment. I would actually prefer to go forward with this, but however, since it appears, although I don't know who has objections to this, that they want it back in committee, so yes, thank you.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-46 is removed from the agenda and referred to committee by a vote of 7-0. Councilman Scarl, Chairman of the Environmental Control Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gilchrist, Chairwoman of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, do you have a report this evening?
I do not, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilman Madden, Chairman of the Streets and Transportation Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any letters or communications to come before council at this time?
No, Mr. President.
Thank you. We will now move into audience participation. Thank you for attending tonight's council meeting. Public comments offer the opportunity for members of the public to share information and bring issues and concerns to the attention of city council members. If there is anyone in the audience who would like to address council, please come to the podium, state and spell your name and address for the clerk. If you live in a city other than North Olmsted, please state the name of that city and proceed with your comments. You will have up to 5 minutes. Seeing no comments from the audience, we will now move into legislation.
Legislation on third reading, Resolution 2023-50, introduced by Mayor Jones and Councilman Limper. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a guaranteed energy savings contract with Leopardo Energy LLC based on an energy audit authorized by Ordinance 2022-38 as amended by Ordinance 2022-114 in the amount of $3,962,095 as amended.
Clerk, it appears that a member of the audience didn't hear the call to the podium, so I'm going to grant that opportunity. We'll circle back to legislation.
All right.
Please.
Dennis Lambert, 25057 Cary Lane. First of all, you all know I'm deaf. I don't hear a word you're saying, so if you're answering me, I can't hear anything. So I just thought I'd tell you that. I'm here to discuss a pet peeve of mine, but first I want to congratulate Nicole Jones for being appointed to the county Executives Advisory Board. And the picture of you and Marie Gallo was very nice, and you may meet another mayor from South Euclid who I know, Georgine Wheelo. I don't think she'll remember me, but 13 years ago we had a lot going. At any rate, I'm finishing this up by talking about my pet peeve, the bridge over Cedar Point Hill. And my councilwoman is familiar with it because she got information showing that it would be proceeding just in spring when the weather broke, and it was supposed to be finished by the summer. We have not had that bridge for 3 years. Yet our county executive, he's a public relations guy more than an executive, is riding over the Lorain County Bridge with Mayor Justin Bibb. It looked very nice. And they're planning to build a bridge to the Brown Stadium. Isn't that great? I'm sure all you want to go over to Brown Stadium on that bridge. But this city's a big city. The city is closest to this city is Westlake. And that mayor is a very seasoned mayor, as I've said to Kerry Coffer a couple times. He knows what he's doing. And when we had the old county councilwoman, she made sure they had everything. Now Fairview Park has the eastern edge of Mastic Road. They've been working on that diligently where it goes into Purtis. How come a city this size and this significant cannot get that bridge finished? And now we have a county executive, well, he was of the same party the other one was, but no dice. So I'm telling Nicole Jones in public, build a fire under that guy. You're on the you're an advisor to him, build a fire. Use your position. I hope you can. I know that being of your age, and you're even younger than my daughter, the youngest daughter. So there's a lot to learn still, and you're learning, and I wish you all the success in the world. But somehow, nice people don't get things done. It takes some strong arming to do it. I want to see that bridge finish this summer like we were promised. We were promised, weren't we?
Mr. Chair,
Councilwoman Heeman.
that was the information that.
Yeah. All right.
Ms.
Thank you
Baker
very much for your time.
Gave us. Mr. Chair.
Mr. President,
Mayor.
my Economic Development Director will explain to Mr. Lambert and the City Council the information that was given to us in which the bridge will not be completed this summer, as promised, because structurally it is damaged and they need to do additional work in order to make that bridge sound for our residents and others to travel on it.
Thank you, Mayor, Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. To Mr. Lambert, all members of council, the city engineer is a direct report to myself, and we've been in contact with the county. So it's just for purposes of correcting the record, the project is owned and sold and overseen by the county engineering staff. What has happened was when the original scope of work didn't call for the steel beams to be replaced. However, when they got into the bridge, they did some testing on the beams, and they just were not safe to reconstruct the bridge with the steel beams that were decades upon decades old. The latest press release and information that we got from the county engineer's office that was dated March 29th, I don't know if I've seen Mr. Lambert to speak with us about this project in the last 6 weeks or so, but March 29th was the last update that we got that said that the project will have a mid to late 2024 completion date, depending upon material availability, weather, river conditions. We continue to push the issue, particularly for a couple of business owners on our side of that bridge that are having a tough time weathering that storm, so to speak. So we're on it, but we can't make the county move any faster than they're moving at this point in time. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lambert, you're...
1 minute, please. I want to add to what I said, that it's important to this business, to this city, to have business access from all over, from Brook Park, from the other side of the bridge and the airport and everything. That's what made Dennis Clough's city good, because he detoured everything around his business district. And that bridge is important for our east access to this city. It means more than just going to the park. Thank you. I'm done.
All right, seeing no other comments from the audience, we will move back into legislation. I believe the clerk ended up finishing reading Resolution 2023-50, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So, Mr. President, with pleasure, I would move to favorably recommend, to adopt 2023-50 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt Resolution 2023-50 made by Councilman Glassburn, seconded by Councilman Limpert. Roll call, please.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes, with brief comment. This is one of the more important things we are doing. It is a rare day where we are going to get to do $4 million of projects that will pay for themselves, improve not just the financial position of the city, improve the structural liabilities of our city buildings, and put people to work in our city. This is one of those rare win-win-wins, and it's millions of dollars for our city, and I thank the administration for doing this.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes, with comment, I just want to add, what is nice to see about this is you have a vendor who's going to provide key performance metrics and ensure, basically guarantee that the amount will be funded in full. So, it's a crafty way to ensure that a competent contractor can manage a large project and obtain the savings that allows us to do other capital assets. And I just want to reiterate here that every time we get a grant or we acquire another capital asset, those things need to be maintained, and this is one way in which we're finding a way to do it. And I would encourage the administration to continue to monitor what those long-term costs are and ensure that those are budgeted appropriately, so we can continue to maintain the capital assets that we acquire. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes, with a comment. I agree that this is an amazing project, and I was excited when Director Upton brought it forward on behalf of the administration. I'd like to thank our mayor in finding Mr. Upton, and, such good directors that can now put our city on a little moving forward, more globally kind of space. Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-50 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance 2023-51, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of not to exceed $4 million of notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to provide funds to pay costs of acquiring and installing energy conservation measures in city buildings and facilities, together with all necessary appurtenances thereto.
Mr. President, I would move to adopt 2023-51 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-51 is made by Councilman Glassburn and seconded by Councilman Lippert. Roll call, please.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-51 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Legislation on second reading, ordinance 2023-18, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance amending section 1118.13 of the Planning and Zoning Code of Codified Ordinances of the City of North Olmsted entitled Offices and Services in order to limit the location of specified uses. Ordinance 2023-48, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance amending section 139.99B of chapter 139 of the Administrative Code entitled Department of Public Safety for the purpose of creating a new full-time position of Information Systems Specialist in the Division of Police and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings as this matter was heard in committee on April 24th. Suspension was requested at that time in order to immediately fill the position so the new hire can assist with body camera setup, dispatching needs, and any other matters within the police department, and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rule requiring 3 readings for ordinance 2023-48 made by Councilwoman Williamson, seconded by Councilman Madden. Roll call, please.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
That motion passes by a vote of 7-0. If there is anyone in the audience who wishes to address council regarding ordinance 2023-48, please approach the podium now.
Seeing none, Mr. President, I move to adopt ordinance 2023-48 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-48 made by Councilwoman Williamson, seconded by Councilman Madden. Roll call, please.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-48 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Resolution 2023-49, introduced by Mayor Jones, a resolution authorizing the Director of Economic and Community Development to solicit statements of qualifications for architectural services for various city projects through calendar year 2024 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I'd make a motion to suspend the rule requiring 3 readings, as this, would like to get the administration would like to get that statement of qualification request out, in order to most quickly, get those, proposals, in order to meet, projects through the calendar year 2024. Ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rule requiring 3 readings for Resolution 2023-49 made by Councilman Limpert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
That motion passes by a vote of 7-0. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address council regarding Resolution 2023-49, please approach the podium now.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
seeing none, I make a motion to adopt, Resolution 2023-49. Ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt Resolution 2023-49 made by Councilman Limpert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-49 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Resolution 2023-55, introduced by Mayor Jones, a resolution adopting the alternative tax budget of the City of North Olmsted for fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2024, and submitting the same to the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Officer and its Budget Commission, and declaring an emergency. Legislation on first reading, Resolution 2023-56, a resolution dispensing with the formal RFP process and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Six Mill Company to provide construction management services for the senior center and community cabin kitchen renovation project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I introduce, place on first reading, and request suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings and formal committee review.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Heeman.
I'd like to make a motion dispensing with the requirements to have 3 readings on 2023-56. This was brought before caucus this evening, and I informally reported out on this in the committee report section of our meeting, and this is on a tight timeline so that we can finish the kitchen areas of our community cabin and senior center, which would be in the best public safety of those 2 buildings. And I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rule requiring 3 readings and formal committee review for Resolution 2023-56 is made by Councilwoman Heeman and seconded by Councilman Scarl. Roll call, please.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
That motion passes by a vote of 7-0. If there is anyone in the audience who wishes to address council regarding Resolution 2023-56, please approach the podium now.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to adopt 2023-56 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt Resolution 2023-56 made by Councilwoman Heeman, seconded by Councilman Scarl. Roll call, please.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-56 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Resolution 2023-57, a resolution approving the award of a job creation grant to R.E. Warner and Associates, Inc., and further authorizing the mayor to enter into a grant agreement and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I introduce and place on first reading.
Resolution 2023-58, a resolution authorizing acceptance of grant funding awarded by the Cuyahoga County Council in the amount of $35,000 to provide for construction of improvements at Springvale Golf Course and Ballroom, further authorizing the mayor to enter into necessary agreements therefore and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I introduce and place on first reading.
Thank you. Moving into scheduling committee meetings for Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. Councilwoman Heeman for Recreation, Public Parks, and Buildings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to schedule on May 9th from 7:30 to 7:35 to discuss 2023-56 and ask that the, 58. 2023-58 and ask that the mayor, Andrew designate be present. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilman Glassburn for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'd schedule Finance Committee for 7:35 PM to discuss 2023-57 and -46. Would ask the Economic Development Director for 57 and all of council for 46, if you're available.
Thank you. With the agenda being completed and there being no further business to come before council, this meeting of May 3rd, 2023 is adjourned at 8:54 PM.
Right?